Hello, I'm Brian Skinner. I'm here today with Dr. Thomas Ayoub of Women's Healthcare of New England. Dr. Ayoub has been nice enough to sit down and talk with us today about menopause and what it's really all about. I know there's a lot of people out there who have questions about it, and Dr. Ayoub has spent his life in this field and is willing to talk to us a little bit about what exactly it is.
Well, I thank you for having me today. Menopause is a very interesting phase in people's lives. People get very nervous about it because I think of it as like a transition. You're going from being reproductive age, and all of a sudden you stop being reproductive, and it's a time to reassess your life a little bit. People have to look at the weight that they might be gaining, or the possibilities of no more children, or like I said, it's the transition. You have young kids in their early 20s, and you have adults now at the other end of the spectrum, parents that they're taking care of in their 70s and 80s. So they're almost in the sandwich area. You feel people, when they look at menopause, tend to think of people as being old. I don't really think it's old. I really think it's a redoing of what needs to be done. So all of a sudden, you're no longer menstruating. People sometimes feel no longer productive, or they sometimes go into depression because there's certain disease processes that could go on at this stage. Thyroid changes a little bit. Your metabolism changes a little bit. Some people reassess their lives at this stage. They look at their marriages, and they're not always the happiest in their marriages, or they reinvent themselves. They start to make a positive out of this, which is something that we like to get them involved in. Thinking of having a life coach, deciding on volunteerism, get a number of people now going back to school to learn new things.
It sounds like people's concern about menopause is happening in concert with everything else that's happening in their lives.
Right. And most people are fearful of being overwhelmed, that I will be overwhelmed by the changes that I'm going to have. I tease a woman, just like, and you as a boy will not understand this entirely. Think of it from starting as a woman and all of a sudden menstruating every month. You stop menstruating. So I tease a woman, if they could handle the adolescence, menstruation every month, menopause is easy. It's just a matter of taking care of themselves. If they eat properly, exercise regularly, and spiritually in a good place as far as menopause goes, they'll transition very well.
You're right. I can't really relate to that, and I understand now. You explained to me more why it's so stressful for some women to be going through this stage. I think my mom and my grandmothers, they talk about it. It does seem to weigh on them in terms of their mental health.
Well, some people are scared that they'll be overwhelmed by the hot flashes, by the changes that go on. My attitude is, if any of those changes are overwhelming to people, we can fix them. So it's not that they have to go through it uneventfully. Eventfully meaning challenged by it. We could take care of them. So I encourage people to be verbal about it, to talk about it, because in the old days, people suppressed it. And you're right, women are a little bit embarrassed by a hot flash they might get, by not sleeping as well. They're worried about their sexuality changes. But as I express to people, if you talk to us about it, we'll find out if there's something that we could fix or tweak a little bit.
Like anything else, it sounds like communication is a big part of it.
Very much in this topic. Unfortunately, it's one of those things that you can't fix dramatically, but sometimes just having a conversation about the fears that you have make it better. Because once you know that there is some place to go or somebody to talk to make it better. And, we're blessed in people just don't have to see me. We have a whole network of people surrounding us. So we have sex therapists, hormonal specialists, and my job is to facilitate and make it as easy as possible to transition.
So you're kind of center point, and then from there you refer them to the other people inside the group.
If necessary.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today.
It was a pleasure.
It was great meeting you, and thank you for your valuable insight on the topic.
I appreciate it. Thanks very much.
You're very welcome. I'm Brian Skinner. Just again, a special thank you to Dr. Thomas Ayoub of Women's Healthcare of New England.